Hello.
Hey there.
Hi there. I see we have Robin here. Abe also joined, so I think that's everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey team, yay.
Hey there.
How's it going?
I'm gonna go check and see if a phone booth is available. One sec.
Welcome. I think we can just start a round of self introduction. And I'm Shan. I'm currently at Foursquare. I was at Unfolded, and before that was Uber. I'm the main contributor behind Kepler GL. So I work on building front-end data visualization product.
Great.
Ip?
Yes. Hey, Mib. Now running Unfolded team at Foursquare. I was previously at Uber, and I was the original troublemaker behind DeckGL and the BizGL frameworks.
Great. Yeah, and I know you were on our call with the CPC, I believe, as well as Chris. Yeah. Chris looks like he's in a real office.
I am, yeah. I think I can actually go to a meeting room. One second.
Okay. Mhm. Looks like it's summer where you are, Ib.
Yes, I'm making the most of the pandemic.
I kind of miss an office. I don't miss the commute, but I do miss an office.
Hey, yes, I'm Chris. I was formerly colleagues with Ib and Shan as well at Uber, and but I was on in a different division. I was in the Elevate division, which does electric aircraft did electric aircraft ecosystem work. And now for the last year and a half, I've been at Joby Aviation, which is an actual aircraft manufacturer.
Nice.
And so that group's moved over and I do visualization here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. Victor?
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hi. Great. And where do you work, Victor? And what do you work on?
I'm from Action Engine, supporting water, gel mostly, and a little bit other repositories with gel.
Great. Cool. And I'm Robin Ginn. I think everyone on pronunciation, it is Ginn. So yeah, I'm just really delighted you all are here. And we have a great community, and I'm looking forward to having you meet the other folks at the foundation. I think I always say when it started very Node heavy. I had been part of the Node.js Foundation since before it was a foundation. It was an advisory committee. Jory Burson on our team, she was on the JS Foundation side, and she was very active in jQuery, for example. But since we merged, almost right away, we brought in AMP and Electron, and then just like community folks who hadn't really been active in the past started coming and participating at the Cross Project Council. So I would say it's much more diversified from a project level, from a region level. For example, our Cross Project Council, we regularly have folks from, Italy and Finland and UK and Switzerland and things like that. And we've tried adding some APAC hours in, and attendance wasn't great, but we do have contributors and free translators from project people in China as well. And we have an active community in Japan with Node-RED in particular. So if I start thinking about what we're going to be doing in the future, I think what we'll be doing is probably like consolidating some of the budget that we're spending on one global conference, and instead like co-locating perhaps with the Linux Foundation Open Source Summit, and try to look at doing things more on a regional level. So anyhow, so yeah, I'm just really delighted you're here. And we're here, I think, to talk about the announcement. Let me give you a little quick overview of our team. I think you all knew Brian pretty well. And he was at the Linux Foundation 2 stints for 11 years. So I knew in the last year he was looking ready to do something different and bigger and better. So, but he was really, I think I said, our unicorn at the LF. He trained everybody. He wrote like the documentation, he wrote the book, he wrote the movie, literally, on how to be a PM at the Linux Foundation. So, knowing that he was on his way out, I was looking at filling who would be our new Brian. And we have somebody temporarily that I've tried to poach. They've given to me temporarily, and hopefully I will get him full time. His name is Kahil White. He's somewhat new to the LF, but the other project he works on is the Open Source Security Foundation. And we have the first grant from OpenSSF, and Jory Burson also works on security. So we're trying to have some cohesiveness with the teams, and just culturally, I think he's a great fit for our community, more of a creative sort of developer community, I think, that we have. He came from the game developer space, so that's pretty cool. And then our marketing person, we have somebody new coming on. The person we had was more of like a graphic design kind of production person. It turned out we're very much heavily into content production. So we needed really strong writers, somebody who gets the tone, of our community. Our Twitter handle is 352,000 people. That's a lot of responsibility. And the Node project is handing over their Twitter to us. Hopefully we'll just be like foster parents, but that's 750,000 people on that Twitter handle. So we wanted to bring somebody in. So we have a great person who came highly recommended. Her name is Kylie Wager. She is at a public relations firm, and for the last 4 years has been supporting Microsoft open source and developer tools division. So hopefully she'll get our tone. And she is an excellent writer, and we gave her a writing test. So, and then we also have a PR agency, Jesse Kassman, and he's been with us from the start. He's also a freelance tech journalist, and he's awesome because he's super fast. He gets our community. He's a developer. He can look at my stuff and say, oh no, that's boring, lose it, or that's great, bump it up. So we have a pretty good team. And of course, you all probably know Jory Burson a little bit as well. And she's really helped sort of PM a lot of our community activities. And so she'll be kind of a conduit to you as well at the Linux Foundation. Any questions? No. So from an announcement perspective, you all are sort of one of our big announcements. We wanted to save it a little bit for OpenJS World. So I was just wondering, are any of you planning on attending the conference in Austin?
No plans at the moment. But I think that probably was more so since I hadn't considered it, or I don't think we necessarily knew that was something we should do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, what I thought would be great, I think Brian had mentioned that you all have some great content. I saw his mail where he talked about providing content. But for me, like, the invitation's open if one or all of you want to come and demo on stage or to share a little bit about what you do. We definitely would want to make space for that. So if you have the ability, that's June. We say it's June 6th through 10th, but Monday is training. It's a Node.js training. We had native script, but we didn't have as many people sign up, so we dropped it, but the Node training has been quite popular. Tuesdays, we're calling it's kind of the JavaScript superstar day, but it's also GraphQL day. So the executive director from GraphQL will have a keynote. But if you kind of take a look at the schedule, do you want me to go to openjsworld.com? And day 2 is we're sharing the keynote day with the CD Foundation, Continuous Delivery. And so we're sharing the space, and they're essentially, we're calling it 3 conferences in one, because GraphQL is marketing their GraphQL Conf, CDF is marketing theirs, and then we're marketing ours. But then we're sharing what we're calling our kind of our thought leader day. So that's, some heavy on security, and then just some other talks that are meant to be more inspiring. Another thing I think we tried to add more of this year, the JS comps are very well known for being social conferences, like one day learning, one day social. We couldn't quite do that with a venue we had booked 3 years ago. But we're trying to add more at the beginning and the end. So just recognizing hallway track and getting folks interested in your projects. And then the last 2 days are collab summits. And that's where a lot of the projects they get their pipeline of people to work on their open source projects, people who may want to roll up their sleeves and just dig into things. So there's some sort of deep planning. So for example, Appium is bringing their contributors there and some other projects. But I do think, and I was at KubeCon last week, sometimes that face-to-face is that good place to make those great connections, partnerships, if you're looking for more people to work on your projects.
So which day will you be making the announcement?
On Tuesday, June 7th.
I mean, I have a conflict. I will be talking at another event on that day, so I definitely won't be able to make it. So looking at the room, maybe is it possible just do it virtually?
It's technically, we may be able to make it work to beam in. We were saying no on technical, but if it's a quick thing, we could try. The only person that's going to beam in is Cory Doctorow, which was such a huge win for us to get him. He just found out he's having his citizenship interview and becoming a citizen that day, and he can't change it. And so that was a good excuse why he couldn't do it. So he's going to do virtual at the end of the second day, and then he's promised he's going to do it in person for us next year, which is super cool because he's, has a great following. But we could, I don't know what would be. So that would be sort of Zoom beaming in. And so what they would do is they would put you all, I just came from an event team call. With the way the production is on stage, you have to get on Zoom like before it starts. So it's all teed up and tested. And then you just have to go on mute and you're kind of on a different screen, off screen. And then they patch you in. So that is definitely possible if you want to do that. Ib or Chris, if you can fly to Austin for a day or 2 or 5, that'd be cool too.
Which day was it?
Tuesday, June 7th.
June 7th. Maybe.
I will be in Utah or Salt Lake City on that Monday, the 6th. And I suppose I could come to Austin on the next day and change my flight. I know I can do that. So I guess I think I could be there, but I'm just curious. I'm not necessarily prepared to speak on behalf of all of VisGL and Kepler GL.
I think it would be just just a quick minute on sort of what UCF is and why you all formed this.
So how much time is it?
Well, my whole keynote is only 15 minutes, and that includes like housekeeping and thanking sponsors and things. So I always say, like, I used to work on these case studies. I did a lot of case studies at Microsoft. Our case studies were 90 seconds, because you can fill in a lot.
Okay.
I'd like to show some sizzle with your projects, and
I mean, we can give you the visual fireworks, right? That's what we're all about. We can give you the incredible slides or video, whatever, right? But
yeah.
I mean, it's a long trip to make to just do a 5-minute lightning talk, right? So
yeah.
So maybe, if it was a bigger event, maybe, but maybe with a little bit more time and some other bigger events, maybe we can join in force,
But Chris, if you're halfway there and if you could do a puddle jump.
I could. Would Shannon, would you guys be comfortable with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah, I think I could be, the body on stage, right? I think if I had both of your help to, Shannon, to create the slides and get the sizzle, then I could say a few words or, kind of just need some support, I think, on that, on the content side, but I can be the person to present it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, be awesome.
Great. And you can even have sometimes the fireworks running behind you as you're sort of talking, over it as well, is sometimes a nice way to do it. And I can help you if you need any help editing and things like that. So.
Yeah, I think I won't be able to represent Joby in any way without the approval, and there's not enough time.
We don't. So yeah, and we don't really want to. Company,
right. I didn't think you do want that anyway, but I just mean that we haven't really released a lot of like DeckGL made stuff at Joby yet, and so I won't be able to bring any of that. But we can. I think there's so much in the VisGL community already, Deck and Kepler GL community, with all our examples and showcases, things like that people in the community have made. That's what we probably want to do. I just haven't. That's why I don't have anything prepared, because I've only ever.
No, and I think it's more. It's more personalizing the work that you all do, and the initiative behind it. Again, we have diversified, and even we just brought in the Jest project from Facebook, from Meta, and we have Mocha, which is testing, but that's kind of on the decline a little bit. But Jest is like the largest, so it's just really nice to bring in new communities of people, and so people who are interested, in contributing and understanding how they can get involved, or just having a nice friendly face to say, oh, it's not so scary. It's easy if you want to, you know, because sometimes I look at the stuff, I'm like, boy, that seems pretty intimidating, right? And there's lots of ways. So I think that's really the message, that there's this, you know, great community of people who are working across organizations who are pretty passionate about this space. And there's a place for you to participate. So cool. And then we'll have a press release where all your voices will be included in sound bites. Jesse is pretty great, our comms person, at drafting those for you. And then you can tweak them if that helps, unless you have something that you specifically want to say, or you can just scrap it. But that sort of takes, hopefully, some of the burden off as well. And then he usually sends those out to reporters under embargo a few days before. So they have kind of a head start to do some research. Sometimes they even follow up with us and our community people on email or in person, like a day or two before the event, just to ask questions. Cool.
Yeah. Shannon, do you have time over the next, do you have time to help with this on kind of the prep side over the next week? It really, we have like a week, so it seems like we're going to have to work together to.
Yeah, sure.
And I think we can also enlist Xiao Ji in this.
Oh, great. Yeah.
We'll come together.
Right.
Yeah.
And Chris, I'll get you the registration information. We have someone at the Linux Foundation events team, Shannon, Jesse. She'll send you all of the logistical information, but we have a registration code for you to get registered and all of that. So, and if you all, I'll make sure that you have the registration information for virtual. So we do have a virtual platform for people who want to tune in. And then we take all of our sessions and we post them on YouTube the week after. So it's super easy. And then we take those keynotes throughout the year and just do little side blogs with them with timestamps. So we talk about it being the gift that keeps on giving. So as we market those things. Cool.
Nice. Yeah, I see one. I'll work on flights and all that, but I see a flight I could do with that gets me there Monday night.
Okay, great. Yeah. And yeah, it would be great to stay. I think, again, this is a really fun group. They're famous for their karaoke. I don't sing, but so we hired a Texas live band karaoke on Wednesday after the sessions are over. So that should be entertaining. I will be in the back of the room taking pictures, not on stage. And but yeah, it'll be a good opportunity for you to meet some of those folks. Great. And did Brian plug you into if you're all are interested in the CPC, the Cross Project Council? We used to meet every week, and now we've switched to every other week, and then we have working sessions. So I'll make sure you kind of take a look at some of the agenda topics that we're covering. And then what else? And then it seems like as soon as our conference is over, it seems like a few months later we start again. So if this is something you're interested in, our program committee is quite robust and well attended to kind of shape some of these conferences. So, and that's also a nice way for if there's other folks in your companies or your communities who may be looking for other ways to get involved that are not just, code contributions. There's lots and lots of programs that we have a lot of volunteers from a variety of projects.
Yeah, that'd be great to attend a couple of those, or just when they are occurring.
Yeah.
How does the structure work with attendance? Is it an open attendance meeting?
Yeah, for a Cross Project Council, what happens is the projects, the impact projects have 2 people assigned to the CPC, and then the other projects have somebody assigned, and those are voting members. But then we have open voting members, and essentially to be a voting member, you just have to show up for a couple of months, and then you PR yourself into the repo on being a regular member. So then you're added whenever there's votes. I think one of the most impactful things that the CPC does is determine which projects come in what's our technical strategy moving forward, and then just setting sort of best practices on things like code of conduct. We're just spinning up a security working group as well, taking the grant we're getting from the CPC and trying to build some best practices that flow out through the rest of the projects. So, but yeah, so to be a regular member. And again, I think I find a lot of cross collaboration, like even companies get stuck on something and they end up now having that sort of greater network across the tech industry, and they really do sort of help each other out. So it's been nice to see. Okay. Awesome. Great.
I think we had a few. So after this announcement occurs, should we kind of be lining up all of in that email thread that we have going? There's a lot of different action items.
Yeah.
The fact that UCF is still, a thing, right? It's still like a site, it's a name and all that. We want to transition all that to the new name. I think there was like basically stuff for both of us to do on both sides.
Yeah.
Who's our point of contact on the Linux side now?
Well, that typically is Jory, but she just had a baby and she split her maternity leave in half. So at the beginning of July, she's taking the second part. So I'll have Kahil start do that because she'll cross train him. So she has 1 more month of maternity leave, but you don't have to stress or worry about it too much. You can take some people on board quickly in a month or two, and some people take 6 months or even more. I'd like it not to take more than 6 months because a lot of it's administrative and we're learning things like we created a footer for the website just to make it easy to add those things. We're still adding some documentation on some projects are so small, they don't have a code of conduct committee. So then they can flip it up to the CPC code of conduct committee, for example. So we're trying to just make those just easier to implement. But Jory typically PMs the onboarding with all of our projects, and she'll go through with the checklist and work with you all on that. And then it's our PMs who are like Brian, who are like plugged into the back end of the LF and all of those systems. I work a lot with our members and projects and communities. So.
Oh, cool. So in about 2 months, there'll be a resource available to help with.
Oh, no, right away.
Or?
No, we can start right away. Oh yeah, we'll start right away. And but just the person, it'll be Jory and Kahil. It typically would just be Jory, but since maternity leave. So
okay. Gotcha.
Cool. Okay. And yeah, we should have a call with them. Maybe we'll just have next week. How often? I do have this on my calendar. Is this weekly or this call?
We have it every monthly, actually.
Monthly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, in the past, there's usually a meeting email ahead of time and like a slide deck and maybe a few projects and talks lined up. I think during this transition, and this is probably the lowest attendance we've ever had that I've been involved in. And I think it's just because the transition is in progress. People are kind of figuring out, or they're wondering what's happening. So I want to hopefully give them that clarity as quickly as we can. I think what this idea with the announcement is an excellent way to do that.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe, when is your June one? What day of the week? What day?
Let me check. This is the June one will be usually last week, last Thursday of the month. So we have it scheduled to be June 23rd.
Okay, cool. We'll have both Jory and Kahil on, and maybe we'll do some pre-work before and just work with you, maybe async, to try to get that, just make sure that they're all ready to go. Brian was able to have a onboarding call with Kahil before he left. So that's good. So we're feeling pretty good about taking things on. We were just, this event has just been a lot. So we're a little mighty team. The LF events team is pretty awesome. They do a lot of the the venue work as well. So cool.
Awesome. Maybe we should set something up. We could do that over email or now,
Yeah.
but next week soon to prepare the PR and talk about an outline for the presentation.
Yeah.
For just the short slides, it really sounds like we're talking 60 seconds, 90 seconds on stage. So it's very, very little.
And then I've sent Jesse all of the information for the press release. Again, I'm going on to a call with him shortly. So sometimes he likes to interview you. Sometimes he has enough to go on, but I'll kind of get a pulse. If not, then we might ping you to jump on a call even earlier if you can. But we're pretty agile. We're small and mighty and pretty agile. So it's like a startup, but with the big LF behind us, which is really nice. So. Great. Any other questions? I might let you get to your, if you have other stuff on your agenda.
Not for today. I think we just wanted to meet with you and discuss the next steps. So I think the June 23rd one will be a good one to collaboratively work on a announcement deck and then how things will work from now on. So today is a good time to just get the work started.
Yeah, great. So no, so the announcement will be the 7th and you're all comfortable with that. Yeah. So I think the June 23rd, you're saying that will be just on the onboarding and getting your, all of those transition things that need to take place.
Yeah, so usually I will send out an email to the entire attendee of the TAC conference. Now we've been into Open Viz, Open Viz meeting. So I usually send out an invite about agenda, what we will talk about during that monthly meeting.
Okay.
I think it'd be good to have a formal announcement during that meeting, so I can send emails, invite people, so that we will have more attendees.
Okay, great. Well, we'll work with you on that. Cool. Okay. Great.
Yeah. I don't have any other questions. I think there's just a good amount of asynchronous work to do.
I agree.
I'm going to put a footer onto the repo, the Hubble GL repo, and see how that goes. And then if that works, then we could put that on the other repos too. Maybe I can just open some PRs for that. It seems like we have a template, so I can take that on.
Great.
So we do have an open Slack room, Urban Computing Foundation Slack room, where Chris and I, Abraham, were in there.
I'll join.
Do we keep that one? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
And are you on our Slack channel for OpenJS?
I don't think so. We didn't get any invite.
Okay, so if you're on our website there's the collaboration tab and there's the invite link right there. But I can pull it and send it.
Oh, I see. Even on that collaboration one, you have a Google Calendar for the CPC meetings, so we can add that. Cool.
Let me just tell Jesse. And pretty good about, if you go to the CPC on GitHub, there's also, if you're on OpenJS, there is a CPC or Cross Project Council channel. There's also a Cross Project Council GitHub. So you see any issues that pop up. And then the working sessions, we have a pinned issue on the top of the Cross Project Council. And then we have working sessions. And we do deep dives.
One thing I think I see is that like our Slacks that we're using right now are probably on the free tier and have been deleting messages and stuff like that. Is that something that you guys support by any chance?
Yeah, we do. We do have that, and some projects have chosen, and I'll have to double check on this, but the Node project, for example, decided to roll into OpenJS with their own private channels for their communities. But we do have, yeah, enterprise for sure.
Okay. Okay, so maybe something we can work towards.
Yeah, with Kahil and Jory will set you up on all of that. Great. And same with Zoom accounts. I assume that you have your UCF Zoom account from the LF still. Want to make sure you have that. If not, we'll make sure that you have access and resources to get that. I think we should go through like a whole checklist on resources. Some projects need more, some need less. Some we're working on, infrastructure and CDNs, and some are lighter weight depending on what resources they need. So we're here to really help sort of figure that out with you and help get it done. Okay.
Awesome. I just joined the OpenJS Foundation, so I'll do a little introduction.
Right. The other, I think, group is, in addition to security that's spinning up, we have a very active and established standards working group. If you're a standards geek, that's the place to be. Folks are active in ECMA, W3C, and Unicode consortium right now. But if that's areas that you're working in and you have representation in standards bodies, it's a great place to be, and it's a great place for us to sort of amplify the work that you're doing.
I think we're working a lot with the Open Geospatial Consortium.
Okay.
Supporting many of their standards and so on.
Oh, good. We would definitely love to have visibility and support in that. We take some of our budget and we fund a resource at the W3C, not a resource, but a subject matter expert. We fund travel to standards body meetings and things like that. So, matter of fact, TC39 was going to have their plenary at OpenJS World, but there are folks who just weren't quite ready to travel, but they do have a room where the folks who are on TC39 will be using. But yeah,
I think this will need to sink in a little bit, that there's actually funding available for things, it's just not something we're used to.
Yeah, it's funding, and it's just amazing, the people. Like I had our last conference, I had Jeff Jaffe and Rob Palmer. Jeff is W3C, and then Rob Palmer chairs TC39. They were in my keynote, but I think they were saying that we have more, someone said we have more standards IQ at the OpenJS than some of these standards bodies, because it's just so many people are active and they bring in all of what they're working on together in the standards working group. So it's nice. And then we're trying to, that group is really trying to educate kind of the next generation of people to be editors and participants in standards bodies. And so working on some education things as well. But yeah, you can, once you start sort of following some of those channels, you'll start kind of discovering all of the goodies that, that people are working on. All right. Any other questions? I'm trying to think.
Not from me.
Great. Well, thanks for having me here. It was great timing. So I will be syncing with all of you in the coming days.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks all. Bye.
Thank you. Great to meet you.
You too.